Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Chris coming at you with another episode to the Beautiful Struggle podcast. And this is episode 39. And if you're watching on YouTube, as you can see, we have a very special guest on, a very familiar guest. But before we introduce her, if you guys didn't know, this Beautiful Struggle podcast is all about personal development, and it's also a business podcast. And really, the point of this podcast is to empower you to live the life that you truly deserve. So with that being said, if you can go ahead and do me a huge favor and follow at Beautiful Struggle Podcast on Instagram. That's at Beautiful Struggle Podcast on Instagram. All right, so like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, you already see who my guest is. And those of you that are listening, my special guest is Morgan Michelle.
Hey, guys.
Okay. So I decided to bring her on because it seems like every time I bring her on, we get really good feedback from the episode. And not only that, it's we're quarantined, so right now I'm still trying to figure out how to bring other guests on.
Yeah, I don't want him going out, and I don't want him going to other people's houses, and I definitely don't want him to bring other people into our house. So it's kind of like I'm your only guest, really.
Yeah. So she's gonna be on today, and if you guys follow me on my Instagram account, you guys know that I was letting you guys know that this is gonna be like a Q&A style podcast. So it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to try to make it a little bit more fun, relaxed, just answer some questions regarding how we're doing, some relationship questions. We have some really good questions that people ask, and yeah, that's about it. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and hop into what's going on in the world, the whole COVID-19. We literally just found out a couple hours ago that they're extending this whole quarantine until May 15th.
15. Like, what? 15 more days we got to be stuck in the house? Like, already on top of, like, end of April.
Yeah, because today's day is April 10th. We're supposed to be quarantined until April 30th.
Yeah.
And then they added additional 15 days of being inside, which is crazy. How do you feel about it?
Almost another month, like...
Yeah.
I'm just grateful and blessed that I'm able to work from home. Because not many of you guys know, but I left my previous job and went to a new job right before like all this madness started happening of like sending people home. So I literally went to my new job for 2 days. And then they're like, okay, you work from home. But I'm so grateful for my boss because she's such an amazing woman already that she's like, oh, no, like, we're going to get you set up at home. Like, don't worry about anything. Like, you're just going to be doing training. So I'm just, like, at ease about it. But I can only feel for, like, the people who aren't in the same situation, who can't work from home and, like, they're furloughed or, like, their jobs literally just, like, let them go, you know?
Right.
So I'm definitely blessed. We're blessed because you can still work from home, and I'm working from home. So it just happened to work out that way, and definitely it was a blessing from God because I was like, oh my gosh, I need to. The funny thing, remember, I was like, oh, I'm going to start my job. I'm going to give myself a week off. And then I'm going to start the next week. And then it didn't sit right with me. I was like, why do I need like a whole week off? Like, I don't really need it right now. Like, if I had been there for a long time, then yes. But I was like, no. I messaged HR back and I was like, hey, can I start on this date instead of this date? They're like, oh, yeah, no problem. And literally, if I had not started the day I started and waited until that next week, I don't know where we would be right now. Like, because I was able to, like, at least, like, get my foot in the door, sign all my paperwork, get benefits, and, like, payroll and everything.
Yeah, the reason why she brings that up, because as you guys know, a lot of companies, they were in the process of hiring people, and they just, like, shut it down.
Like, hiring freeze.
Yeah, hiring freeze, and people that were hiring tremendous amount of people, they just like cut it all down. So it was a huge blessing that she got her foot in the door, and still till this day, they have really good communication. They're treating you really well.
Oh yeah, they're like, my boss is like so amazing. Like once a week we have like Zoom calls that we just sit there and talk and discuss. You know, I check in with her every day, and it's just so amazing, like, that I'm brand new to this like job, and they're still treating me with like the utmost respect, not like, oh, you just got here, like, must be nice that you're working from home already. She's like, no, I honestly want to be in the office with her because she's just so nice, and
good
like
energy.
The other girl that I work with, she's really cool. And just like, you know, when you first get hired into a job, you kind of want to be in that environment, so you pick up the pace quick. But now it's kind of like, but I'll be there.
Right. And then for me, as you guys know, I already work from home with the whole digital marketing standpoint. So even though I work from home, it's been a difficult transition for me because even though I don't have like an actual job to go to, it's just very difficult for me to just stay in literally one spot all day. I've been dealing with it, but it's a difficult transition. As I said, I like to be moving around, out and about, meeting clients, talking to people, interacting with people. I just love feeding off other people's energy.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting in the chair.
He's driving himself up the wall, which means he's driving me up the wall. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like, we can't do nothing about it. Sometimes I have to remind him, like, I can't do anything about it. Like, they make us all stay home. Like, I understand you want to get out the house, but there is nowhere to go. Like, to him, there's somewhere to go. Like,
there's always something to do to me.
But I'm just like, where? Like, what? Like, when we go out, like, yes, we can go out and we can go to the beach and stuff like that, which we've done. But it's just like other places that you go, it's going to be a little bit harder to be like social distancing because you need to keep away from people, like, stay away from people. And the places he likes to go and the stuff he wants to do, he wants to vibe off of other people. I'm like, no, like, you just need to stay in the house.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know I'm a people person, but for me, I think it's very helpful that at least once a week that we try to get out the house. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys seen that we went to Malibu, and literally we just drove all the way to Malibu. We stopped by Randy's Donuts, and then we was just chilling. We're just literally chilling, and it's almost like you appreciate the little things a lot more now that you don't have them.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like, me and my mother-in-law, we love Target, and like, you cannot just go into Target and just browse like for hours.
No, you can't.
You can't do that because honestly, it's a sign of disrespect to the people who are working, because it's like, we're here for essential needs, and you like shopping around and looking at the clothes section and stuff, that's not an essential need, you know? So I'm just like, I just go into Target, I like peer one way, I peer the other way, and I just keep going it because I'm like, I don't want to be like that person that's like literally. And, like, who wants to be around people for that long anyways right now when everybody and anybody could have it?
Right. Absolutely. So let's start to get into some of these questions that people were asking. The first one, really, somebody asked, are we enjoying this whole quarantine?
I am. I'm a relaxation type of person. I like to relax. I like to stay in my pajamas. Not like all day, but I like to like be in my comfy clothes all day. Like, that's just who I am. I definitely need those moments. And it's not really like bothering me that much because, like I said, I still work. And like being home with my husband, it's cool. Like, I like it. We do get like a little like on each other's nerves throughout the day sometimes, but like he'll go to the balcony or like he'll go to the dining room table, and we'll just like kind of have our like separate time where he does his thing and I do my own thing.
So I mean, obviously, like you said earlier, there's only so much that we can do. So with that being said, I try to focus on the things I can control.
Right.
And I can control like me just doing little things like going for walks. I don't even know if we're supposed to be doing that. But
yeah, they said you can go for a walk.
Okay, so going for walks, sitting on the balcony. I mean, it's been cool. Obviously, like I said, I would rather be out and about. But I'm definitely adjusting to it. And having my wife around 24/7, I mean, I can't complain at all. I like that a lot.
Yeah, like we asked my dad, we were like, hey, can we borrow some patio chairs for us to sit outside? Because like, just like getting fresh air and being able to sit out there, it's totally different. Right. And then today my dad texted us and was like, oh, like if you guys are getting stir crazy, like by all means come by and pick up some bikes. So
Right.
we'll probably do that. It's been raining around here, so we'll probably do that next week or so.
Absolutely. So the next question someone asked, and these are all like COVID-19 coronavirus questions right now.
Okay.
And then, so the next question someone asked is, what is the next question? So how are we staying productive? So I'll answer that first.
Yeah, because I would just be like honest, he's way more productive than me.
Yeah, so it's been, I'm not gonna lie, it's been really, really hard. Since we've been locked down, I'm not gonna even lie to you guys. I probably worked out, I can probably count on my
Well,
fingers.
last week you worked out a lot.
Yeah, but once it started raining, I
Yeah.
couldn't go on runs and whatnot. So it's been really difficult. Don't get it twisted. I'm not here. It's been a rough transition. I'm gonna say that. But what I've been doing recently is, hopefully this helps you guys out as well, is I've been putting myself on a schedule. So literally the time I'm supposed to wake up, the time I'm supposed to read the Bible, the time I'm supposed to work on certain project, the times that I'm supposed to work on my podcast, the times I'm supposed to cook, do stuff around the house, and then I try to have a designated time for, wifey and I. And with that being said, I just have a schedule, so I try my best to stick to it. And with that being said, it's still really hard to stay productive, but scheduling, if there's one thing that you guys don't do, it's one thing that you can do, it's just scheduling. And like for me, it's been easy to schedule because a lot of people don't know, a couple years ago I actually quit my job just to focus on school. So literally I was just focusing on school for a whole year, focusing on school, and just like I was in my flipping stages. So I was like reselling everything I can get my hands on. That's all I was doing. And I think I was working on the clothing line at the same time. But so some of those days I really didn't have nothing to do. Like I go to school, do my work, whatever the case is. But so what I would do back then is I would still schedule my days. I would I would have a calendar on my wall and I would fill my days up.
I bought you the calendar.
You bought me the calendar. I would fill my days up like I had something to do. And if I didn't have something to do, I would literally make something up. Like, okay, study for this or learn this, do this, or come up with or something. I would come up with stuff. I would just make stuff up that I really didn't need to do, but I would make myself do it.
For me, like staying productive, just having a job that I still have to like report to and like kind of clock in and like check through emails and see if there's any work that needs to be done. That helps me stay productive because during that time I have to be alert and I have to constantly be checking my computer and stuff like that. But other than that, like usually before we would like wake up super early in the morning. I used to wake up really early in the morning because I used to drive to LA every day.
We're working on getting back to that.
I personally like sometimes don't roll out of bed until like 9 o'clock now, which is like completely unheard of. Like, I don't think like since we moved in, we've ever slept in late. It's always been like 7 o'clock that we wake up, but now it's like his alarm goes. I don't even set an alarm, which is like horrible, but he sets an alarm, goes off at 7. That thing gets snoozed. I think around 7:30, 8 o'clock, you might roll out of bed.
It's like 7:30.
7:30. He'll like he'll get up and start reading, but like it's like what? Like,
we're all out of whack.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
We're completely out of whack. Like I'm just like I didn't even know I could sleep in that late anymore because I used to just like. When I would sleep in, it would be like 6:30 because I was just so used to waking up at 5:30. But now it's like you just got to roll out. And when I say roll out of bed, I literally roll out of bed and like go turn my computer on. Like there's no like, oh, let me get dressed, which like your mom was like, in order to stay in the loop of things, you need to like get up and get ready like how you would go to work. And I'm just like, don't think that's for me.
I mean, as you can see, we kind of got dressed up for the podcast.
Yeah, this is seriously like the first time I've like gotten dressed in I don't know like 2 weeks.
I mean, I don't mind it because what did Deion Sanders say? He say, when you dress good, you feel good. When you feel good, you perform good. When you perform good, man, you about to get results or whatever the quote is. But I mean, just dressing up. My mom, she does it all the time. Yeah. Even though she's working from home. Shout out to my mom. Should I say the people's name that are asking these questions or no?
No.
Okay. So the next question is, how or what are y'all doing to give each other space? And how many days do you get to yourself weekly?
Right now, we don't get any days to ourselves because
literally.
we're quarantined.
Well,
I don't really think, but to be honest,
when you're married, you don't get no days.
Exactly.
Like that.
I was gonna say, like, if you're married, you really do not get a day to yourself unless like someone leaves, like leaves for the day or the weekend or whatever it is. But like, you don't get days to yourself anymore. Like that's once you signed that marriage license, that was one thing that you just threw out.
That's
like,
it. So what are we doing to give each other space? We kind of mentioned it earlier.
Oh, okay. Like, I'll stay inside. He'll go outside on the patio, and he'll be out there for like an hour, and I'll be in here just like by myself, either reading my book on my phone, on the iPad, just like time to just be by myself because I do need my alone time. In the morning, his alone, like he gets his alone time since I'm like still in the bed sleeping. He'll come out here and you'll read your book, you'll read your Bible and stuff like that. So we have like, throughout the day we have times where we like are alone. Like if he takes calls, he usually goes outside, so those last for a while, so I'm just in here by myself, and that works out.
And I mean, I would just to add on to that, so our apartment is pretty small, but our dining room, like either she's working at the dining room table or I'm working at the dining room table and someone's on the couch outside or vice versa. So it is difficult, but I think when we want to give each other space, it's more than physically giving each other space, like mentally as well. Like just leaving her alone or leaving me alone, and like pretty much, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's so important right now too, because if you're cooped up in the house with your husband, your kids, whatever the case may be, like you just need your time to be alone, like, and not just like alone, like on the same couch, like alone in like separate spaces, so you can like mentally recharge, because if I don't get to mentally recharge myself, I'm not the nicest person and I'm not the best wife. So I'm just like, I just need my time to be by myself.
For sure. No, that's good. So transitioning into like relationship, personal questions. It's funny. I'll just say right now,
my mom.
Your mom asked this one. She said, shout out to moms, but she said, are y'all still in the honeymoon phase or feeling like an old married couple? Want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay, so we kind of talked about it. What?
Do you want me to go first though? Or you go?
No, I'll go first. I'll go first because I feel like you're going to have a more in-depth answer. So for me, we just recently kind of talked about this. Not to go too deep into it, but I feel like everything that happened with us happened pretty quickly. Yeah. As far as like getting married, and it wasn't, don't get it twisted, it wasn't rushed. No. It was not rushed. It was just like life happens and just things move quickly. So got married, moved in. Yeah. So, yeah. But anyways, so we never really like got that honeymoon phase, but I will say that I don't know, I just love being around my wife. So I maybe I am, maybe I'm not, I don't know. I just love being around her all the time, so maybe I am. But I also do feel like an old married couple, because one thing I always say is married years are equivalent to dog years. So like if you married for 1 year, it's equal to like 7 dog years, like for real. So I think a combination of both for me.
Yeah, so I feel like, yes, definitely a combination of both. But how our life is set up, I feel like we really haven't like been in like a honeymoon phase, if that makes sense, because we are just so like infatuated with like getting to our goal. Yeah, because our definition of a honeymoon phase is like we get to kick back, we get to relax, we just get to love each other. It's like lovey-dovey, like everything is good. And like sometimes things aren't good, so we're like busting our butt trying to make things good, so that once we do reach that honeymoon phase, that like we can sit back and enjoy it and not have any worries, because we did kind of like get married pretty quick. I was like trying to do the math in my head the other day. I was like, okay, so I was 22 when you asked me to be your girlfriend, but we had been like dating way before then. So I was 22 when you asked me to be your girlfriend. And then by the age of 23, I was engaged and married. So it was just like we had a short-lived like boyfriend and girlfriend phase, and then like engagement. Like we were just like, well, if we're in it, like what's like, why are we holding back? Like that's the next move. And then we were wanting to move in together, and we knew like as Christians the right thing to do was to get married. It didn't happen before we moved in, but like we were just quick to like, you know, like we don't want to be like living in sin. So we just was like, okay, like we know that we want to be with each other, and we know this is like something that's gonna last, and we're in this like forever. So like, let's just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why I feel like we, as a married couple, we have like real life experiences of being in a relationship, because a lot of times when people get into a relationship, it's that honeymoon phase, is that lovey-dovey.
Yeah.
You can't do wrong, I can't do wrong type of stuff. And which is cool, but for us, we've learned so much about each other and learned so much in the process that I feel like it's definitely put us, I don't want to say ahead of people, but it's definitely matured us and gave us like really good practical experience that we can apply and teach some of y'all and help some of y'all out for sure. So so that was good. We getting deep right now, y'all. So how do y'all deal with jealousy? You want to go first? You want me to go first?
You could go first.
So for me personally, I've never really been a jealous type of person. I wish maybe this person would have went a little bit more in depth, maybe give an example or something. But I've never really been a jealous type of person. I feel like under jealousy, there's a little bit of envy, and I've never been envious of my wife. You know, I think her story is her story.
Yeah.
If you're talking about,
I think they might be talking about jealousy as in like someone else showing me attention.
Yeah, like, I mean, okay, so I'll give this example, and maybe this is what you're referring to, hopefully, but like somebody checks you out type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, So, okay, listen
like
to
someone,
this.
like a man texting me or stuff like that. Like,
I mean, no guys really be texting me.
No,
like
they don't.
But okay, let's just say that some dude on the street is checking my wife out. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm so confident in our relationship. When a guy checks out my wife, you know, it doesn't bother me at all, because for one, again, I'm confident in our relationship, and for two, I think it's a compliment to her. You know, like, okay, people think that she's attractive, and obviously I did a good job of people, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get jealous. I'm not the type to, but now if that person puts their hands on you and gets out of line, that's when it's gonna get funky.
But that's not jealous, but that's just like putting somebody in check.
As long as like you keeping it respectful. I'm not a jealous type. I've never been a jealous type.
For me, like the same. Like I'm very secure in myself and what I bring to the table. So I don't really worry about like what someone else thinks about him or is like going on. Like I could care less. Like definitely if somebody steps out of line, I'll say something because that's disrespectful. But like being jealous and like causing issues and arguments over that, that's never came up before.
Absolutely. I mean, we trust one another. Yeah. And we definitely respect one another. We know that not everybody's perfect. So whether you have baggage or not, we respect that, you know? So next question, it says, what is something you changed about yourself to benefit your relationship?
That's a deep one. What have I changed about myself?
I know. I mean, I know for yourself, you always say it.
Yeah, like I was definitely in a phase in my life where I was like just wanting to have fun. Like party girl status. Like I just was out with my friends all the time. Like partying from Thursday to Sunday. Like I was just like, me and my friends just had the like amazing time. Like that's a part of my life that I would not like want to erase or take back. Absolutely. But I knew that the type of man that I wanted for myself, for my life, like to be my husband, to be like the father of my kids, I knew that came with me stepping up to the plate and having to make a decision on, okay, well, are you going to let this man go? Because obviously he wasn't going to stick around if I was going to be like out with my friends all the time, out in the clubs, like doing what I want to do. Was I going to like put that to the side, or was I going to continue with that? And I think you kind of made it clear, like, either you get with the program or, like, we're just going to have to stop this. Because he wants a woman as well that's, like, seen, like, with the utmost grace and the utmost respect. And me, not saying, like, girls who go out and party, but, like, me every, like, weekend, like, choosing to spend time with my friends in the club rather than being with him. That was just something that wasn't going to fly for our relationship.
No, that's good. That's good. For me, I've definitely mentioned it on the podcast. I've always had this mentality of never being satisfied. Like always wanting to get to the next goal. Like if I hit that goal, I'm not satisfied. What's next? Or whatever the case is, just never being satisfied with the situation I'm living with. So the one thing I had to change, and this was big for me, is I had to change my mentality on how I viewed women. So when you get I'll say this, when God blesses you with something good, you have to be satisfied with that.
Right, very
Because
true.
if you're not, then it's going to go right past you, and then God knows when something else good will come by, and
Very true.
who knows when that next person comes by, if you'll even be paying attention at that moment. So my thing is like, I have to be satisfied, and I have to like take advantage of this moment and embrace it.
Yeah,
for sure. So that was something big that we definitely had to change about ourselves. Here's a good one. How do you guys move past / address heated conversation?
Ooh, that's a good one.
So I'll say, okay, heated conversations. I
don't feel it like there's no like and or like it's just both
I was
same.
gonna say like conversations, and I'll say arguments. I'll say disagreements. I don't like to say arguments. I say disagreements. Okay. But like, what was I saying? So like, if we're talking about if we're discussing something, sometimes she has a strong opinion about something. I have a strong opinion about something. And it's, for me, I like when people agree with me, and I like when she agrees with me, and I try to get you to agree with me, and it doesn't work out.
No, so I'll just be like we'll talk, and then like his favorite thing like that he says I do, I'll just be like, okay. Like, you're just saying okay to shut me up. I'm just like, because we're going in circles. If it's like a heated conversation, I'm like, we're just going in circles. Like, you're trying to get me to agree, and I'm not gonna do that because I'm so like stubborn and strong that I'm like, I'm not giving that up. Like, no,
for sure. And one thing I will say, something that we do not do, like when we have a disagreement, a heated conversation, whatever the case is, we don't let it roll over for a day. Like I don't remember us being in a situation where like we've been mad at each other for like 2 days, a week.
Oh, not like 2 days. It'll be a day.
Oh yeah, like a solid day.
Solid day where
you definitely hear about people in relationships. They'll go weeks without talking to their spouse, which I'm the type of person, how I want to deal with the heated conversation is I want to talk about it. I like to talk, and I want to express myself. And sometimes your partner isn't the same way.
Yeah, I'm not the same way.
Sometimes they just like to be left alone and to themselves, and let them like control their emotions and whatnot. And sometimes that can be a weak point for me because I just want to talk, and she just wants to be like, yo, just leave me alone. Yeah. So for me, I like to talk about it, and I don't like to let it go longer than a day.
Yeah, it'll definitely, like, we will not mess with each other for a day. Like, sometimes, like, it'll happen later in the day, and then it'll be, like, the next morning that will, like, be like, okay, like, give it up. But, weeks, more than a day, no, negative. I'm the type of person that, like he said, that I'm just like, okay, like, leave me alone. Like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like, I do not want to talk about it anymore because I can be a very emotional person, and I don't want to say something that I don't mean.
Right.
So I'm just like, leave me alone. Like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to get so angry to the point that, like, I come out of character. So I'm like, leave me alone. Just let me be. But in the morning, we're both calm. Like, or like later the day, we're both calm. We both thought about the situation in our heads. So it's just like, okay, like, I'm looking at this with a fresh point of view. I'm not angry. I'm not mad. Well, I might still be mad, but I'm not like that emotional, angry, or mad person. So it's just like, okay, we can talk about this. And usually it's just like, okay, well, we'll do better at this, and I'll do better at this. Or next time we need to address it this way. Next time we need to address it that way.
Right. No, that's really good. We're getting deep, y'all. If you guys are enjoying this conversation, this podcast, please subscribe to the podcast below. Follow me on The Beautiful Struggle, at The Beautiful Struggle Podcast on Instagram.
I thought it was at
Beautiful Struggle Podcast. You know what's funny? Just quick story, not to get off track, but someone has the Instagram name The Beautiful Struggle. And
really?
Yeah, and I tried to send him a DM and like.
Oh, I think I remember that.
So long story short, it's some young lady that's from Korea or something like that, and she didn't understand a word I was saying, so I went to Google Translate and was like, translate, how much do you want for your Instagram name? I swear I did. And Google Translate gave it to me, went back to Instagram, copy and paste. She just blocked me. So that's why it's
I thought it was somebody else.
No, she just literally blocked me. So it's at Beautiful Struggle Podcast. So go ahead and follow me on there. And refers this podcast to one other person out there. We got a couple more questions. The next question is actually a really good question. During this time, what have you realized you appreciated most about each other now that we took for granted?
I would say just like you're like being so tentative towards me. Like the smallest little thing I ask for, like he'll be like, yeah, let me do that for you. Or like, oh, like, can I get a blanket? And he'll just like go and get me a blanket. Oh, can I get a pillow? Oh, he'll just like go and get me a pillow. Like he's very like alert and tentative towards me, which I totally love. I don't think we really was able to see that side of each other just because like I was gone like all day and he would be here or he would be out. So
let's see, for me it literally just has to be your presence, because like you said, you were always commuting, going to work, and I was like at home, or I was out and about doing whatever, and I just like having your presence around, and I definitely took that for granted. So maybe you come home and maybe I'm still on the phone, maybe I'm still on the computer working, or I go to the gym when I can be home hanging out with her, so I definitely took that for granted.
You know what I thought you were gonna say?
What?
Like how I like to be so prepared. Like when I go to the grocery store now, like I'll like get everything.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I would definitely say that.
Everything.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. Today she went to the grocery store by herself, because she was picking up some stuff for my birthday.
Which is tomorrow.
But she can't.
But this is gonna come out on Monday. So
yeah. April 11th is my birthday.
Yeah, there we go.
But she went to the grocery store, and I was shook. I was shook one. Mob deep. No, because she came back and she had everything and more. I was like, damn, she would get stuff that she knows I like, that she don't like. She'll get it from me, and I'm like, that's what's up. Like, that's dope.
I literally like went to the he's like, do you want me to come with you? I was like, nope. I literally went in the grocery store. Nobody was really there. They had meat. They had everything. So I was like, let me just stock up. Because if you guys know Christopher, he is the type to be like, no, we don't need that. No, it's fine. And I'm just like, no, like, let's get it. And he's like, well, if you really want it. That's his thing. If you really want it. It's like, now, like, really when someone says it, well, if you really want it, you're just like, fine, whatever, we'll just leave it. But, like, I was like, okay, I don't have anybody in my ear this morning. And I got up early. Guys, I was out the door by 7:45. And I was just like, okay, let me just get everything so, like, I don't have to go back out. So I literally, like, stocked up on meats, like, just, like, things for us to make, like, smoothies, like, just seasonings, everything that I was like, okay, we don't have this, let me grab that one. We don't have this, let me grab that. I was just like, I don't want to really be going out as much anymore. So I was like, okay. And like usually if I pick up certain things, he's like, do we really need that? And I'm just like, I guess not.
That's funny. So a couple more questions, y'all. Since we have been home, what do you miss most about your freedom? I'll go first. I mean, I think we all miss the luxury of being able to go places that we want to go, even though we may not be able, being able to go places, even though we may not are trying to go there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like, for instance,
just like the option of being able to go somewhere.
The option of being able to go places. So I definitely miss that, like just the option to do things. For instance, we talked about the beach earlier. We weren't really supposed to be there, but if we really wanted to go there, we'd be able to go. Yeah. But now we can't. And for me, it's hitting the gym. Like I used to love the freedom of just going to the gym and just being around that environment. And so I definitely miss that. So I think we both can agree that we missed that option.
Yeah, I definitely miss the option of just like getting up and going. I used to just like get up and go to Target, get up and go to the mall by myself, just like time for me to be alone and just do the things that I love to do. Just like the little things like going to breakfast with my Nana, like those are like the things that I miss because like obviously if you guys have grandparents, you know, like they are not supposed to be out the house like whatsoever.
And
like,
both our grandmas, they cannot stay down.
They love to go. Like both of our grandmas are like, and they both live really close to us. So I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys need to just stay home. But they're very healthy. They love to be on the go. They are very independent women. But just being like able to like sit around family, you know, sit with your grandparents, like go out, take them where they want to go. Definitely. So that's a freedom I really miss, is just hanging out with my family and just being able to like get up and go to the mall or to Target early in the morning and just be by myself.
Absolutely. So what is one thing you plan on working on or improving on during this lockdown? So I can go first.
Yeah, you can go first.
For me, it's two things. It's the number one thing is the podcast. Excuse me. I'm working really hard trying to figure this stuff out, trying to push out as much content as possible, trying to figure out, how to get my guests on and things of that nature. I really want to improve this thing. And like I said, in the beginning of the year, my goal is to like take this thing to the next level. So that's number one. Second thing, I want to continue working on my health because like I said, I can count on my fingers how many times I worked out since this whole lockdown. And I worked out yesterday and I was in the living room like real life struggling. So definitely want to continue working on that for sure.
The one, like not the one thing, but something I definitely want to work on is just like being there more for my husband, like just because I'm able to be home more, like just be able to help him out. Like lately I've been getting up, like cooking us breakfast and like making us salads for lunch and stuff like that. So just being at like just kind of like being at his beckon and just being able at like just picking up on little cues with him and just like learning him more like in this time.
That's dope. That's pretty dope. I didn't realize that. That's dope. So the last question, and everybody asks this question.
I have a feeling what this question is.
Everybody asks us, when are y'all having kids?
Oh my gosh, y'all just want me to just pop him out real quick.
Right. I mean, I can answer and then you answer. For
Go
me,
ahead.
My answer is always like, look, when God wants us to have kids, we'll have kids. So I don't know. But right now, like I feel like we have a lot of things that we want to accomplish and we want to get done and places that we want to go to see. So we're definitely not planning on it. But
sorry, y'all.
But I'm not the type. A lot of people are the type to be like, oh, when I'm 30, I want to have 3 kids or whatever the case is. Obviously, I would like to be younger when I have kids, but I'm not the type to put a date on when I'm gonna have kids. I'm not gonna say, oh, in 2 years I'm gonna have. No, it's when it happens, it happens.
So me, on the other hand, since I will be toting this child at some point, I'm like, I definitely want to be young, but I like don't want to do it now, like just yet. Like we have so much we want to do. We definitely have like goals set. Like we were just kind of talking about this the other day. We want to have like all these things kind of wrapped up, and I know like people are like, oh, like girl, like you'll never be ready type of thing, but I'm like, no, I want to be as ready as possible, as ready as I feel I can be, because we have like the emotional, the mental, the physical right now, but we're just like, at this point I wouldn't feel comfortable financially bringing a child into our marriage, into our family. So I'm like, I wouldn't want to do that to a kid. I want to be able to like give them everything that they want, deserve, and need. And right now I wouldn't be able to do that. Like obviously like we would be able to take care of a kid, but I wouldn't be able to do it the way that I would want to do it.
Exactly. That's the key. Like we would, obviously people make it happen, and you hear single mothers, single fathers making it happen all the time.
Props to you guys.
Props to you, huge props to you guys, especially during this time. But it wouldn't be like exactly on our terms. Yeah, it wouldn't be. We wouldn't be doing the things we would want to be doing, that we know we're capable of doing with a child.
Right.
So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. I just wanted to end this podcast with some encouragement for you guys. If you guys are out there and you guys are in this quarantine and kind of struggling, one of the things I definitely want to suggest is to seek help.
Oh, yeah.
You guys, please, like, don't close mouths, don't get fed.
Yes,
so
that's our quote around this house.
It's the quote. So, whether you need government help, there's a lot of government funding out there. Educate yourself on what you can qualify for. There's food banks that are happening all over the area, especially in Southern California. There's churches doing their things.
Man.
Anything else as far as seeking help?
No, just like I said, even if like you need help, like by all means reach out to people that you know. Like don't like just rely on government help in like the churches and stuff like that. But like don't be afraid. Like everybody's going through something, and like a lot of us are going through something right now. So don't be afraid to ask people for help. Exactly.
And I would also say I'll offer like a helping hand myself. If you guys need someone to talk to or just whatever, you can definitely hit me up. I'm always open to like personal development. I actually like doing that and having conversations with people. So don't be afraid to reach out to me. It's all good. I would also say continue to focus on what you can control. Obviously there's a lot that we can't control right now, but what you can control, and I've said this in the previous podcast, is you can control your attitude that you wake up with every single day and the effort that you give every single day. And I would definitely say direct your energy towards things that you want and towards things that are positive. There's no point to be like wasting our energy and our time on things that are negative and things that people don't want to happen for us. We focus on the things that we want to happen for ourselves. No, go ahead.
If like, how we see on Instagram and everything right now, social media, if you're not doing A, B, and C, you're wasting your time. No. I don't want to get that twisted. If you're going through a hard time and all you can do is sit there and mentally prepare yourself and just be there with your kids and not work on a craft, and that by all means you are still living your life. Like, don't let people on social media tell you need to pick up a new craft and all this. If mentally you cannot right now, by all means, if all you can do is wake up and be happy that you woke up this morning, hey, that is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a couple weeks ago, if you would have told me that, I would have disagreed with you. But I do understand that everybody's going through a situation and going through something. So, and when people say that you need to learn a new craft, I mean, obviously I'm going to encourage you to do that, but that's just our opinions, It's people's opinions that say that you should learn something, you should be doing something, you should come up with a business. It's just their opinion. So if you feel the need that you need to just be like kicking back and just like getting yourself mentally ready, like you said, and even spiritually ready, by all means do what you got to do. Anything else?
No, that's all.
That's going to be about it. If you guys like this podcast, type of podcast out, let us know. We were actually strongly considering like doing our own podcast, just the two of us talking about relationships and whatnot. So if that's something that you would be interested in, let us know. Give us some feedback. Talk to us. All right. So with that being said, it's your boy Chris, and I'll catch y'all next week.